Hello, my name is Joel Coleman. I'm a sales engineer with Symantec. In this video, I'll be presenting a brief introduction and overview of Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud. The goal of this video is to explain the needs that this solution is meant to address and to familiarize you with the benefits that it can offer. First of all, let's just briefly consider why Symantec felt that this solution was necessary. In the current threat landscape, small and mid-sized organizations are really feeling multiple pressures from both external and internal forces. That's really borne out by these few statistics we can consider here. We see on the external side of things, attacks are on the rise against small and medium businesses. According to the Symantec Internet Security Threat Report in 2016, 65% of small and medium-sized organizations were the targets of attacks. A lot of times they're leveraged as kind of a pivot point or an access point into larger organizations. Obviously, these small and medium-sized organizations need stronger protection against zero-day threats and targeted type attacks. From an internal perspective, employees and end users are demanding additional freedoms in the types of devices they can choose to do their work on. A lot of organizations are struggling to keep up with corporate information because it's flowing through not just corporate devices, but also personally owned devices. And according to Gartner, 70% of the mobile workforce will be using personal devices by 2018. So this really bears out that IT teams in these small and medium businesses need to be able to secure both corporate and personally owned devices if they're hoping to protect and secure their networks and data. Resources are also an issue. 48% of small businesses rank lack of IT staff or IT skills as a top tech-related challenge. Also, with smaller IT teams, mid-market organizations really need faster and more intuitive security solutions to be able to secure their environments. To top all of this off, there are really constraints and limits around budget. In fact, in the IDC SMB vertical market profile, cost constraints was listed as the second highest ranked concern for IT teams of this size, with 54% of small and medium businesses listing this as a top concern. Now that we've reviewed the concerns for these small and medium-sized businesses, how can Symantec help? Well, Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud leverages Symantec's industry-leading protection with layered protection technologies, things like the traditional signature-based antivirus, host firewall and intrusion prevention, and app blocking, also alongside our advanced protection technologies, including advanced machine learning and intelligence-based protection techniques that block unknown threats. SEP Cloud also protects against ransomware and zero-day attacks in real time using Symantec's global intelligence network. Finally, it offers endpoint protection for desktops, laptops, and mobile devices, all within a single solution. It has a highly intuitive and easy-to-use cloud management console that allows IT teams to easily create policies that automatically translate the policy settings to the devices, regardless of what type, so if they're PCs, laptops, tablets, or mobile devices or servers, and regardless of platform, so if they're Windows, Mac OS, Android, or iOS. Endpoint Protection Cloud can be set up in as little as 5 minutes using out-of-the-box configurations. Endpoint Protection Cloud's powerful user-centric experience gives IT teams the option to allow their employees to self-enroll devices in minutes, that's both corporate and personal devices, through a simple online portal. This really allows IT teams to focus on policy creation or options for push deployment to Windows devices. Policies can be created based on user roles in the organization and then applied to various groups, for example, like finance or sales, so that all users within those groups will be assigned the same policies. Symantec Cloud is also designed to be affordable to small and medium-sized organizations using a subscription-based pricing model that allows organizations to use their OpEx budget instead of their CapEx budget. As it is a hosted service, there's no additional infrastructure or resources to commit on premises, that would be required to deploy or manage the service. In the last slide, I mentioned that Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud is backed by Symantec's Global Threat Intelligence Network. The goal of this slide is to kind of give you a better idea of the scale of that network you have backing the product. In fact, Symantec has the largest civilian global threat intelligence network in the industry. We have trillions of rows of telemetry from 200 million control points across 157 countries. What this really translates to is we see more and block more threats than anybody else in the industry. And the data that we collect from doing that allows us to better train and hone our security technologies like our advanced machine learning so that they can better protect you. Now, the huge amount of data that we collect is run through our 9 threat response centers. And this is where our highly skilled analysts use things like big data analytics and their own experience and intuition to fight these large number of escalating threats. And again, to hone and improve the protection technologies that you get within Symantec's products, like Endpoint Protection Cloud. The best way to protect against attacks is through layered protection. So let's take a moment to consider the stack of technologies that Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud brings to bear within your environment. Protection on the endpoint really starts at the network level, which is why SEP Cloud includes a really strong firewall and intrusion prevention system. This is a key early detection and blocking technology because the blocking here happens before anything has a chance to get resident in memory or on the disk of the system. It can help to protect against things like drive-by downloaders or even malicious traffic that's trying to take advantage of unpatched vulnerabilities in a system. It also can block outbound malicious traffic. So in the event that an infection does occur on the system, we can prevent it from spreading to the rest of the environment or from updating itself or contacting command and control servers. Next is our reputation-based protection technology, which we call Insight. This is another key advantage that we have from the scale of our global intelligence network. Symantec keeps information and builds reputation for any file that we see submitted from our network of over 200 million endpoints. And so over time, we can use this wisdom of the community to build reputation information and allow us to identify new or emerging variants of threats. Next is our advanced machine learning technology. This is actually one of our advanced technologies that we're going to break down a little bit further in the next slide, so I'll skip this one for now. Next in the stack is our traditional signature-based antivirus technology, which is the primary file scanning technology. Uh, Everyone is familiar with how antivirus works. And we know, of course, in today's evolving threat landscape that antivirus just by itself is not enough to protect an environment. However, it is a key staple technology that really is good at keeping these billions and billions of known malware threats that we have signatures for stopped, while the more advanced and emerging type threats can be attacked by our advanced protection technologies. Next is our behavior-based protection, which we refer to as sonar. This technology allows us to monitor the behavior of running applications so that even if it's something that we don't have a signature for, it's not known, we can watch what kind of behaviors it exhibits on a system. And we have a database of over 1,400 behaviors that we know to be associated with malicious software, so that if we see a particular application exhibiting these known behaviors, even though we don't have a signature for it, we can stop it based on its behavior and prevent those truly unknown zero-day type threats. And then the last technology we have listed here is device control for USB devices. This allows us to set via policy whether we want the systems to have read-only access from USB storage or whether we want to block access to USB storage devices completely. This really allows us to help prevent infections that might come in via those USB connections, or it can also help to prevent data from leaving the environment from systems that should not have access to put data on USB storage devices. This slide covers three additional protection technologies that we're going to consider a little bit more in depth. These are the very latest technologies that we've added into the latest version of our endpoint protection products. So we want to give some special attention to these new technologies. The first of these technologies is our advanced machine learning technology. Now, Symantec has been leveraging machine learning technology for quite a while on the back end of our service. But in this release of our endpoint protection product, we're actually adding this intelligence, we're expanding it into the client side of things as well. So the idea here is that we take all of this information that we've collected from our global intelligence network, all of the millions and millions of submissions of threats, and we're running them through a machine learning algorithm to really detect and see what kind of similarities that malicious software has in common, and also compare that against what we see in common for known good applications that we've collected information on. And at the end, we come down with these machine learning decision trees that we can then give to the clients. And these allow them to take a look at any file before it's launched. So it is a pre-execution scanning technology, but they can look at the characteristics and see if they match what we know to be bad in software. And if so, we can block that. Again, this is even without any sort of signature or without having seen, a new variant or a new version of malware of this particular type. But based on this machine learning intelligence, we can identify successfully and also with a very low false positive rate these new and emerging threats and block them before they have a chance to execute. The second advanced technology we've added is the Intelligent Threat Cloud service. This is a way we're augmenting our protection of traditional file scanning. We allow the Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud clients to directly query our massive database of intelligence information in real time so that when they're scanning, you don't have to wait to get the latest virus definitions downloaded locally to the client. These clients can query that database in real time, and so you get up to the second protection for anything that has been submitted to Symantec and that we have protection for. Lastly, we have generic exploit mitigation. This protection technology helps to protect systems against attacks that try and use vulnerabilities in the way that either applications or the underlying operating system manages its memory. Some of these types of attacks that you might be familiar with are things like heap spray attacks, or attacks that try and overwrite the memory used by the Windows structured exception handler. Because this protection technology focuses on blocking access to the method of attack, it offers true zero-day protection. We don't have to have any type of signature or know anything about a given attack. We simply block access to a method that it would use to gain a foothold on the system. So we've seen how these advanced protection technologies help to address the concern over the rising number of advanced type attacks in these small and mid-sized businesses. But what about those concerns over ease of use and cost? Well, this is another place where Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud really shines. First of all, we have a single cloud-based console that allows management of endpoint protection, mobility, and encryption. So it really makes it an easy to use solution for smaller IT staffs. Also, it offers a quick time to value, as the setup, configuration, and deployment of clients takes less than 5 minutes. And lastly, because of the cloud-based design, it means that the service is always available and so it's always up to date. This helps to really protect the value of your investment in the solution over time. Another key ease of use feature within the Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud console is the intuitive handling of policies. A single policy can be applied to multiple devices regardless of what platform they are, so PCs, laptops, mobile phones, tablets, and servers, and also regardless of operating systems, so whether they're Windows, Mac, iOS, Android. What this really allows you to do is to create groups based on the employee's role. So things like a legal team or sales and marketing teams. And then the users can be set within those groups so that they get the same policy settings on all of their devices, regardless of what they are. We can also set up email access and Wi-Fi access policies for mobile devices so that the users don't have to manually configure these settings themselves. Then we also have a fast action dashboard within the console. This allows you to really get a quick view of any security status alerts within your environment, any devices that need attention, and to quickly remediate any infected or at-risk devices to get them back in compliance, and so that you can have a secure status within the environment. And as was mentioned previously, because this is a cloud-based solution, it's always up to date and it's always available regardless of where your IT staff needs to access it or from what device that they need to access it. Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud also has a low total cost of ownership to better fit the small and mid-sized business budgets. The service is affordably priced based on a subscription, which allows you to choose whether you want to use your CapEx or your OpEx budget for the solution. The cloud-based architecture doesn't require that you install any additional hardware into the environment, which of course saves money on ongoing and installation costs. And then lastly, it's really designed to be simple enough so that a single admin or an IT generalist can successfully use and administrate the product, so you don't have to have additional IT resources dedicated to it. So to really sum up what we've discussed in this overview, Symantec Endpoint Protection Cloud provides intelligent, simple, and affordable endpoint protection for small and mid-sized businesses. This is really summarized by 3 key points. The first, intelligent protection. There's advanced anti-malware protection against zero-day attacks, ransomware, and emerging types of threats using the world's largest civilian global intelligence network. Secondly, it's easy to deploy and simple to use. Through a single cloud-based console, we get the ability to combine security and management of all our devices with one-step policy configuration based on the role of the users across all of their devices, and it can be configured and deployed in as little as 5 minutes. And then lastly, our third point is that it's an affordable solution. It's cloud-based, so there are no additional IT staffing or infrastructure costs, and it's a subscription-based pay model, so you can pay as you go and protect all of your devices for a very low subscription cost. Thank you for taking the time to watch this overview video. I hope you found it informative. If you'd like to learn more about Symantec's Endpoint Protection Cloud solution, or if you'd like to sign up for a free trial, please see the video description section for a link to the product page on Symantec.com. And from there, you can access that free trial link.